Love this coat. So thin, it's so warm. It's like wearing a quilt. You never get cold with this coat on. The hat, the gloves. Let's go. Oh, I do struggle. Oh, struggle to do my laces up. Oh, on this side. That side, no problem. Was it worth it for 2 points? What's he talking about? See what I'm talking about? Garmin Connect challenges. Challenges, small challenges, all sorts of different activities. I used to do loads of them, but since the old arthritis set in, really limited what I can do. I remember in 2012 I went to Medway Hospital for a full body scan to find out how the arthritis was in my body, and it wasn't great news. It was everywhere, every joint. That's what he said. He said, you're going to suffer when you're older. He was right. I do remember one thing that he said that stuck with me ever since 2012, when he said there are two types of people with arthritis: those that suffer with it and those that learn to live with it. Which one do you want to be? Now, I don't mind admitting, since January a couple of years ago, just after COVID, when I did another one of the Garmin challenges, and it was run 50 miles in January, I did it, and literally on the last day, on the 49.99 miles, I seized up. I completely seized up, stopped, like sticking a wheel in a bike. Sticking a stick in the wheel of a bike, going over the handlebars. That's how I stopped, literally pulled up. And from that moment on, I stopped everything. I got really down, I got really annoyed with myself. Then over the last couple of years, I stopped cycling. I used to love my cycling, cyclocross racing. I've done a lot of racing. I used to ride with Wigmore Cycling Club. We go out and ride hundreds of miles quite regularly. There's my selection of bikes that I used to race on, and for pleasure now, when I can, when I feel up to it. It's my old time trial bike. There's my beautiful DeRossa I raced on a few years ago. Don't do it anymore, obviously, can't. A selection of medals and stuff. And there's me when I was fit, before the arthritis came along. Cyclocross. Really enjoyed the cyclocross. Doing all decks, 203 kilometres, racing in the mud. I used to love it, really love it. Running up and down hills, great stuff. I even did my level 2 certificate in cycle coaching, passed that in 2014. So yeah, that's what I used to do. Can't mourn that person. I did think about taking it all down, but no, why should I? I'm not going to. It makes me smile when I look at it. It's what I used to be able to do. Cycling success is a family affair. Making the papers out. Me and the boys. I was really into our cycling then. I can't even ride around Riverside Country Park where I am now. But I can. I've started doing it again. That's what I told myself. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. There are people out there worse than me, and I've got to do something. I've got to make an effort. So this challenge came up. Walk 30 miles in January, and I thought, oh, I can do that. Surely I can do that. I know I shouldn't, because I've seen the x-ray, I've seen what's left of my hip. There's no cartilage there, it's bone on bone. So that all equates to shouldn't be able to do it. But some days are better than others. I find cold, crisp days where it's reasonably dry more pain-free than cold, wet days. On the cold, wet days, even indoors, I can sit on the sofa watching the telly. My neck creaks and it sends a shooting pain right up the back of my head, like I'm going to be paralysed. It's quite a frightening feeling. And my wife will be sitting there next to me. She goes, "Was that your neck?" I go, yeah, it was. Bloody hell. Then my shoulder. My shoulder starts playing up. That really hurts. I can't get comfy. I try and do some press ups. Just try and keep myself strong. My elbows hurt. My wrists hurt. I do 8 or 9 press ups. I collapse. Collapse onto my face. Ridiculous. And it just demoralises you not being able to do the things that you're always good at. I used to run, play football, cycle. In my football playing days, that was a good day, that one. In the paper, Michael Wood potted a spectacular 30-yarder. Yeah, I did loads of them. I was pretty fit. I was doing a park run up to 5 years ago. Always in the top 5 for my age category. Came 3rd on this day. That was my best result. Always capable of doing it in 24 minutes, around about that sort of time. That all stopped. And it makes you feel really down. But I got to that point where I thought, I can't keep thinking the person I used to be. I need to concentrate on the person that I can now be. And I tell you now, I have found that really hard to come to terms with. And again, this is not a woe is me video, this is me getting it off my chest. And this is me saying, I can still do stuff, and I want to still do stuff. When I went for I was supposed to have an operation, and I went for they call it a bone school. I went to the bone school, and it was this time last year. The hip operation was booked in for Valentine's Day last year. I went to the bone school, and all these people in there, they give you an example of the operation, what they're going to do. They also made a point, which I took quite seriously. It's not guaranteed. So I asked the question, well, can I start running again? Or we'd rather you didn't. Yeah, but if I'm pain free, I'm going to start running again. Well, you'll probably wear it out quick and you'll be back in again in 10 years. Oh, really? And you can't guarantee. I don't want to go through it first time, now and twice. I looked at the other people there, walking sticks. Couldn't walk up and down the stairs. I walked up the stairs. She said, "Oh, you were all right walking upstairs?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Well, you've got no cartilage in your hip. We've seen the x-rays." Yeah, I know, but I can. So that prompted me to go and think. She said, go on the website, Facebook page. There's a group, arthritis sufferers. Go on that. So I did. Blimey. There are people out there that are really suffering. And that made me think, maybe I don't need this operation just yet. Maybe I won't have it. So after a long chat, 20-minute chat with a nurse, I decided to put it off. And she did agree with me. She said, if you can cope. We encourage you to keep your original bones as long as you can. So I did, and here I am a year later. I said, I haven't got no miraculous cure. I don't think it's growing back, but I feel like I've got through the year pretty alright. I lost my spleen in a motorcycle accident when I was 19. Didn't really know what it meant back then, apart from the fact that I ripped it out. Really nasty motorcycle accident. I did actually die in the road, briefly, resuscitated, thank you to the paramedics, ambulance men at the time. But they did say that the damage to my body, the whole of the left hand side, that would come back and haunt me in later years, and it has done. And then I had a fall last year, 18 months ago. Postural hypertension, that's the latest thing I've got to learn how to deal with. If I move from down to up too fast, my blood pressure drops by over 30% instantly and I pass out. It caught me out once last year, and then I went head first into the bedroom cabinet. Couldn't raise my arms, couldn't move my legs, and then you just see the dent there. That's where the handle on the sideboard on the cupboard went into my nose, pushed it right over there, and smashed all this up. 4-hour operation to repair it. It hasn't worked, so I still can't breathe properly through that side. I'm still waiting for my 3-month checkup 18 months later, but that's another story. But it's another one of the things that I have to deal with. I also got venous insufficiency in the left leg. Well, I've got half a muscle in that leg because it was torn out in the motorcycle accident on my scooter, my Vespa. The leg shield's folded in, ripped through my muscle, handlebars collapsed, went into my stomach, ripped my spleen out, and stitches in my scalp, plate and pins in this arm because I snapped it. There's the paper cutting from back in the day when it happened. I had a seriously hurt young teenager still in hospital with serious injuries after a road accident in Gillingham on Friday afternoon. Motorcyclist Michael Wood, 19, of Sutherland Gardens, was rushed to Medway Hospital with head, chest and leg injuries after colliding with a parked car. His condition was described yesterday, Monday, as stable. Yep, that was me. Yeah, lucky to still be here. That was when I was 19. And I'm 61 now. So it's been amazing that I've been able to do the things I've done over the years. And going back further than that, when I was at school, they found out I had tuberculosis. TB, a disease that you don't hear of. I reckon I had it when I was probably 3 or 4. But no one knew, because no one checked on that sort of thing back then. Both my lungs are severely scarred. I was always advised not to smoke, so I never have done. Don't know how I got over it, but I did. The doctor's opinion was moving down from the squalid conditions that I was living in a prefab with my granddad up in Stepney Green, moving down to Kent. Fresh air, fruit and veg, exercise, who knows. But the evidence is there. And then I've got venous insufficiency in my legs. I have to wear support stockings because it swells up, and I've had 2 bouts of cellulitis. One of the bouts hospitalised me for a week, and they thought it was going to turn into sepsis, so I have to manage that condition. So all in all, there's a lot going on, and sometimes I think I can't be bothered. And when I can't be bothered, that's when I get annoyed with myself. Because even when I come out for a walk like this, I never feel worse when I get back. And I know that feeling, and that's the feeling that I miss. But I miss the feeling of intense competition, but I can't do it. I try to jog every now and again. It hurts. And it's no surprise, because I've got no cartilage in my hip. My back hurts. I had a slipped disc a couple of years ago. I have to manage that. Anyway, so what I'm getting at is you can easily give up. And the words that were used to me by that surgeon, that arthritis specialist, do you want to suffer with it? Do you want to learn to live with it? So I'm trying my best to learn to live with it. And I have struggled. Been in some quite down places. Affects my mood, affects my wife's mood, affects my son's mood. When they see me like that. I don't mean to get like that. I just hate it. I went for a stage of hating the person that I'd become, that I'm becoming. And then I had a thought process along the lines of, do I hate myself or am I mourning? Am I in mourning? The mourning, I'm passing, the mourning passing of a person that doesn't exist anymore. Should I allow myself, that's what my wife said, should I allow myself to mourn the passing of the old me? And this is the new me, like it or not. So what can the new me do? I've got to embrace what I can do. Easier said than done. It's the same advice I would give to anybody. Focus on what you can do, not what you can't do, not what you used to do. Yeah, I miss doing all those things, but I can still do something. And when I went on that Facebook page, the Arthritis Sufferers Facebook page, and I looked at some of the stories on there, and it was upsetting. It made me cry. And I only spent, I don't know, an hour or so reading through some of the stories. Awful. And I thought, oh God, if I allow myself to wallow in this feeling, I'm going to end up like that. And that was like a wake-up call. I can't do this. I never used to weigh myself. Weighed myself recently, just after Christmas. I'm 2.5 stone heavier. When I was running and playing football and cycling, I was always 11.5 stone. Fighting weight, I think they call it. Now I'm 13.5. It actually crept up to 13.9 just after Christmas. And I thought, I'm asking my body to carry around an extra 2.5 stone than it's used to carrying in the whole of the previous 59.5 years. And I wonder why I feel tired and bloated and out of shape. That's a lot of weight. If you suddenly strapped 2.5 kilo to your back and went about your everyday business, you wouldn't like it. So why am I doing it to myself? Well, it's not actually the weight I'm bothered about losing. It's, can I get back into these shirts? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. My nice selection of Ben Sherman shirts that I can't get on anymore. The best scenario for me will be to get back into these shirts, not necessarily about what the scales say, whether they say 12 stone, whether they say 13 stone. If I can get back into these, I'll be happy. Well, my wife being a caterer, very good with the food. So since January 1st, we've been on a cleansing diet, a clean diet. No artificial sauces, no artificial this or that. Just good, wholesome food. And we had a dinner the other day, and it was just chicken, breast of chicken, baked with tomatoes on the top. Nice big tomatoes sliced. Some ordinary mash, just nice ordinary fluffy mash, and some carrots baked, some parsnips baked, but no sauce. And I said to my wife, I said, I can actually taste the chicken, I can taste the parsnips, I wonder if we smother everything in so many different sauces, we forget what food actually tastes like. I would have said ages ago, that dinner looks bland. It wasn't, it was blinking lovely. Really enjoyed it. So I'm trying this, I've done the challenge, I've done the Garmin challenge, I've walked me 30 miles. And I feel better. Coming out for a walk down here in the countryside. Listen. Just the birds and nature. I never come back feeling worse. So I think I want 2025 to be the year I focus on what I can do. I know what I can't do. I can't ride my bike for 100 miles. I can't run a park run. I'm going to have another go when the weather warms up. I will have another go. It might take me 40 minutes, not 24, but I'm going to have a go. I'm going to get back out on my bike. I'm going to get my Vespa out. I'm going to get my Royal Enfield out. I've got a couple of trips planned in with my friends and some with my wife. We're going to go and try and walk the Penny Fan, which is what I'm trying to get out to as much walking as I can, see if I can actually make it. I've got things I'm going to do. 61, lots of medical things wrong with me, lots of reasons why I can't do things. Do you know what? That's the reason I am going to stick 2 fingers up to my aches and pains where possible, and I'm going to have a go. I'm going to try. The other thing I wanted to mention is sleep. Getting good sleep is also important. I've had to learn how to deal with another thing, and that other thing is rapid eye movement sleep disorder. Yeah, I got that as well. A walking bloody miracle sometimes, I think. But it's where I've been up to the hospital, Guy's Hospital in London. Done a test overnight where they monitored me, strapped me up like something out of Star Trek. Electrodes, machines, video cameras. It's quite scary. But what they found out is that when I go into rapid eye movement sleep, which is usually two or three times a night, usually only for a few minutes, that's a fact, there's a chemical that's released by your brain which paralyses your limbs. So whatever you're dreaming, thinking about, you don't act out. Mine doesn't work. Occasionally. So some nights I am literally falling out of bed, and not just falling out of bed, I fall out of bed fighting imaginary invaders and aliens and thieves and robbers and God knows who else I'm fighting. So one night I even accidentally wakes my wife, which I felt really bad about. Awful for her to witness. So I do try and lay on one side, which conveniently isn't my bad hip side. But that's the thing, I fall out of bed and then I wake up in pain because I've hurt my hip. So I've had a lot of disturbed sleep. But they wanted to give me tablets, and this is the thing. Tablets for arthritis control. Tablets for postural hypertension. Stop my balance going. Tablets for venous insufficiency. Tablets for the fact I haven't got a spleen. Tablets for REM sleep disorder. And I said no, I don't want to take tablets, there has to be another way. I always look for the better way, the lifestyle change, that's what I'm trying to say. I always look for the lifestyle change that can help. So I'm managing all of these things, there's quite a list, without medication. I'm doing it all without medication. The only thing I take chondroitin, glucosamine for the arthritis. Whether it helps or not, I don't know. There's no evidence to suggest that it does. There's none to say that it doesn't. A lot of people take it all the time. I can keep moving. I'll keep taking it. It's not that expensive, and it's actually it's a natural remedy. There's nothing in it that can damage you. You haven't got to lie in your stomach with a tablet because the other tablet might hurt your stomach lining. Blah blah blah, which is what a lot of these things are. Sleep, yeah. So without the sleep, without the good food, without the exercise, you're going to feel pretty rubbish, aren't you? Which is where I was, feeling pretty rubbish most of the time. Feeling rubbish, hating the fact I feel rubbish, and hating that person, this person, that person I'm looking at right now, me. Not a nice feeling, that is it? Hating yourself, not liking yourself. It's not a good place to be. Bloody arthritis, I tell you. Even if I go out for a night out with friends and that and we end up dancing, I know now if I spend any time dancing, my left ankle in the morning, it's like I've twisted my ankle, I've been tackled bad from behind a game of football, and I limp. I limp for 2 days because I dared to dance. Ugh. And that's the other thing mentally I've got to do. Stop beating myself up about times and distances. If I feel like doing something, go and do it. That's what one of the surgeons said as well. Do it. Try and run. Do what you can, and when it hurts, stop. Great advice. And that's what I'm trying to do. If I feel good, I'm going to go and do it. If I feel bad, I'm not going to beat myself up about it. I won't do it. I'm not going to force it. Forcing it makes it all worse. It's got to be enjoyable and it's got to be good for you. Otherwise, you're not making yourself feel any better. And then just recently, last couple of months, another thing to add to the list, acid reflux. Unbelievable. On top of everything else, now I can't eat certain foods. Well, I've got an intolerance. I went for an intolerance test about a year ago because I was starting to get all these pains and bloatedness and stuff. Turns out I'm intolerant to wheat, barley, gluten, bananas. I used to eat loads of when I was running and cycling. Onions. I mean, the onions are, I think it's quite a common one, but my wind, oh, I say, some nights like an hovercraft, my bed sheet. Take the onions out, take the garlic out, anything peppery, wind goes away. So I've made some dietary changes with the help of my amazing supportive wife. and it's helping. I've lost £3 since the beginning of January. I'm still enjoying my beer, but I've changed my beer. I now drink Doombar because it's gluten-free. Who knew? It's not advertised as a gluten-free beer, but who knew? My favourite beers, or my real ales, covered in, smothered in gluten, loads of it. No wonder I always had an upset tummy. More changes to be made, more things to deal with, but what's the alternative? Do nothing and feel rubbish. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to the rest of 2025. Lots of things planned. A new, what's the word? A new way forward, a new me going forward. I'm going to try and be, that's the word I'm looking for. I'm going to try and be the best version of me that I can and enjoy as much as I can. And on that road, beginning on the 1st of January and then ending today, the 31st of January, was walk 30 miles. 2.1 miles to walk today. This particular walk I'm doing is 2.3. By the time I get home in about 10 minutes, challenge 1 completed. Was it all worth it for 2 points? Wasn't really about the 2 points, was it?